Earlier this month, Carta, a software platform designed for private capital, announced that the New York Stock Exchange would become its preferred U.S. public listing venue for late-stage private companies going public. Well, Carta CEO Henry Ward joins me now to talk more about it. Henry, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here at the Stock Exchange. What more can you tell us about this partnership?
You know, I was here in June of 2019 when Slack had their direct listing on NYSE, and Slack was one of these early customer of ours that we followed all the way through the public listing journey. So I was lucky enough to get an invite, and I remember being on the floor out there and thinking, hey, we should do this for all our companies. We should help them get to NYSE. It took 5 years for me to get a meeting with Lynn, the CEO of NYSE, and convince her of this. We did that earlier this year. She said thumbs up, and now we send all our companies to NYSE now that come off of Carta.
So what exactly does that mean that you send them to the NYSE?
Yeah, so Carta is all about two founders and a dog will start their company and get on Carta to manage their cap table, and we help them from the very beginning to when they're a pre-IPO company. When they start thinking about going public, there's really two major things they have to decide. One is the listing venue, and the other is their equity compensation when they go public. We do private company equity compensation. When companies go public, we send them over to Morgan Stanley. And we did this exhaustive survey of what are the best solutions out there for companies that are transitioning to go public for the office of the CFO. And we decided very early on NYSE and Morgan Stanley was where we wanted these companies to go. And so we have direct integrations into the both. We have a whole process that we can make it seamless and easy for the CFO to transition into the public markets, so I don't have to worry about any of these other things.
What do you anticipate to come out of this partnership?
We hope we'll have many companies going to NYSE. Right now we have a full pipeline of companies. You know, Figma obviously listed on NYSE, Circle did. There's been a ton of recent tech IPOs. The best companies all go to NYSE, and we have a pipeline of maybe 20 to 30 companies that we're talking to actively about getting ready to IPO in the next 12 to 18 months, and we hope most of them will go to Morgan Stanley and NYSE.
Okay, great. So I do want to talk about that deal pipeline. Stocks right near record highs. We were doing a segment earlier. The rally has broadened out. Small caps now at record highs as well. What do you see in the pipeline?
Yeah, we see lots of the companies that we're sort of baking over the last 4 years and really growing and compounding. So everything from B2B SaaS, the winners of the B2B SaaS revolution that happened in the 2010s. There's going to be a number of crypto companies that we see coming out of the pipe as well. And then we'll see AI. I think AI is probably 12 to 18 months out because they're growing at incredible rates. I mean, the AI companies today are unbelievable. But they still have to figure out the predictability, the sustainability, and the unit economics. So I think it'll take a little bit longer before we see AI companies coming out of the pipe. But boy, B2B SaaS, some consumer, and crypto is hot right now.
And how exactly does Carta help these companies along their journey to going public?
Yeah, so a big part of going public is how do we help the executives manage compensation, specifically around equity compensation? How do we help the employees manage equity compensation as they transition in the public markets? And then, of course, how do they think about talking to employees about, hey, before we were public, we were private, nobody could talk about anything. All of our stock was illiquid, and now suddenly in the public markets, we're liquid. And there's this whole wealth management component that exists where if I'm an employee and I had a bunch of stock as a private company, it was just paper money. But now when it goes public, it's real. And how do we match them with Morgan Stanley financial advisors to help them understand that transition into liquid markets where now this paper stock is real money? Yeah.
What would you recommend as to why a public offering is a good option for companies?
I think it's really two things. One is it provides liquidity for the shareholders, which is always a good thing as the company matures. But the second is I think the best companies go public and they get that brand of going public, especially if you're in fintech, consumer, and B2B. That brand of, hey, we're a public company makes a huge difference in these sales cycles. Consumers trust you more if you're a consumer company, and the Fortune 2000 trusts you more if you're a public company. And so when we talk to these companies, when they're deciding, should we go public or shouldn't we go public, our answer is go public. There's a positive selection bias, of course, of companies that go public, and there's another positive selection bias of companies that go public on NYSE, because these are the best tech companies in the world, and you've seen it recently, starting with, I think, Slack in 2019 to most recently Figma, and I think we'll see 10 to 20 more companies go on NYSE.
Yes, Snowflake in between, that was a good one as well. I'm curious to get your take, Henry, as to how you would describe the environment today versus what we saw back in 2019 when Slack did tap that direct listing.
Yeah, it's the private companies and private company CEOs today are super excited about what's happening. I just had breakfast with a pre-IPO company CEO yesterday. He's thinking a lot about whether he should go public or not. The window is opening. Everyone's very excited about it. I think a lot of these companies are figuring out what the timing's going to be. Can they get the right growth rates and the efficiency rates that the public companies want? We haven't seen direct listings yet take hold again, but I'm curious to see, especially with some of these AI companies, if they'll start tapping the direct listing as well.
Henry Ward, he's Carta's CEO, joining me in person at the stock exchange. Henry, thank you.
Thank you.